Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday night, November 25th, 2024. We're happy to have you in for another episode of the Prime Time program. Special teams, special players, special plays. Not if you are the Tennessee Titans, not if you are a fan of the team, you understand just how wretched these special teams unit or this special teams unit has been. We're going to talk about this together. We're going to suss out the issues and see if we can determine whether or not this is a correctable situation. We will talk about their special teams gaffes, not just yesterday, but on the year. And we will also discuss what's been worse, the Commanders special teams unit, your next opponent, or the Tennessee Titans. Bert will do a brief in case you missed it because the Ravens are on television. Mike Vrabel's on the Manning cast in the fourth quarter. I'm looking forward to that. Later as well, we'll see if the Mannings actually ask him about his job prospects next year, given that he's going to be on with Belichick. I doubt that is a part of the conversation, but I would be curious to watch. Anyway, to see the former Titans head coach on TV there. Before we get started, need you guys to share the program around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. If you are spending time with us, we need you to spend your time sharing the show around. Retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you want to Facebook or if you want to share on Facebook, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left. YouTube, Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're there, and we will get off and rolling. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN. Get up to $100 on your no danger first wager, courtesy of Zen Sports. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more information. And by the Ashton Real Estate Group of Remax Advantage. Gary Ashton bought me a pie today. I appreciate Gary for dropping a pumpkin pie off at the radio station for me. I also appreciate his intel as my real estate agent. He can do the same for you at GaryAshton.com. And TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch, where you go for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident, TrueMavFitness.com. Special teams, it's been nightmarish, and Sunday's win against the Houston Texans was no exception. But while it is good to celebrate the wins and look at the ways that this team has overcome a lot of the issues that they have had, especially in yesterday's game, they had some self-inflicted wounds and they were able to survive and advance. It is worth noting that they could have very easily been undone, and you could be having a much different conversation today had your special teams unit gotten you the way that it's gotten you a couple of times this year. Brian Callahan in the press conference with us last night was not interested in talking about it at the time, though he did address it today at the podium, and that is what we are going to hear from here in just a second. The question that we will ask you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, your Two Rivers Ford take: what's the biggest issue on the special teams for the Titans right now? Is it the coach or is it the players? Let me know in the comment section. Your Two Rivers Ford take made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Also, if you haven't made your turkey trot plans for Thanksgiving morning, Two Rivers Ford is having a 5K and family fun run to benefit the Animal Rescue Corps, which is, of course, a great cause. I myself am going to sign up. So if you want to run a 5K and hang out, I'll be there. tworiversford.com for more information today. All right. So bigger issue for the Titans, the special teams coach, Colt Anderson. There are some assistant coaches as well, but I know those are ancillary pieces to the puzzle here, and that most of you want Colt Anderson's head. Or is it the players, the execution that you're seeing from this special teams unit right now? And the answer can absolutely be both. That's been one of the biggest talking points for this team. Yesterday was a win, and yesterday should be celebrated. But now is the time to also take a look at some of the flaws, the deep-seated, serious flaws that they have, not just on the special teams, but the offensive line isn't great. The pass rush could be better. But the 80-yard kick return to open the game and a coughed-up fumble on a punt return are two of the biggest things that could have undermined them had they not been, able to overcome. And had they been, the team that they had been in the first couple of weeks, which was a team that cannot overcome their own mistakes. Brian Callahan was asked about the special teams unit today at the podium, and he gave a couple of different answers. But first, let's take a look at one such play, which is the long punt return, or long kick return, rather, that started this game.
And the Titans. This will be returned at the goal line by Dameon Pierce, and Pierce breaks a few tackles, breaks to the outside, he might get away. He's over to the sideline, he's got a couple of men to beat, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line.
It's set up at 19 yards. So he returns at 80 yards. He gets to the 19-yard line. CJ Stroud immediately throws a 19-yard touchdown pass to Cade Stover, his first receiving touchdown of his career, if I'm not mistaken, which is crazy to say. And again, 17 points either given up by the special teams unit or by error, which is the Will Levis situation, the pick six that he was also responsible for, but he was able to overcome his own errors. And this special teams unit, for the love of them, or for the love of God, just simply cannot do that. So Brian Callahan was asked about the special teams unit today. And, last night, understandably, he wanted to focus on the win. They went on the road in the division. They got it done. And we asked him a bunch of questions about that last night, but then reasonable to ask, well, I don't know if the way that the question was asking, PK, I love him to death, and he gave me a ride to the airport last night, which I appreciate. On our way home, heading to Houston Hobby Airport to get back to Nashville after covering this game. But Paul asked, basically, how much longer can the special team situation go on, or is Colt Anderson essentially going to get the slide yet again, or how much longer is Colt Anderson going to get the slide? And the approach, maybe not the best. I think a reasonable version of that question would be, what was your reaction when your special teams unit allowed an 80-yard return on the opening play? That, I think, would have at least got more of an answer than we got from Brian Callahan last night. And, it's reasonable to start talking about Colt Anderson and his job and whether he's the best person to do it. Whether they fire him in season or not remains to be seen, but this was Brian Callahan talking about special teams.
I think there's moments where they've been very similar. Yeah, I mean, we've made sort of game-killing plays on offense that have lost us games, just like we've done on special teams. And so those things it's all three phases play together, and you got to be able to complement each other. And there's been times where we've done that well, and there's been times where we haven't. And when you give up returns, you're not helping your defense. You're putting them in bad spots. When you turn the ball over, you're not helping your defense. You're putting them in a bad spot. And then when we get put in a bad spot, we've given up touchdowns instead of holding people to field goals or standing up too many times. So all those things work together, and yeah, they're all the same. I mean, the team has to play a complementary brand of football, and we have to be able to overcome an error, and we'd like to not make errors and put our other phases in bad spots. And so all that stuff, to me, works together.
Primetime program made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Don't sell without the intel. The intel edge that only Gary Ashton can provide, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Preds, who got a big win over the Jets over the weekend. I think they're currently trailing to the Devils right now, the New Jersey Devils. But for Brian Callahan's part, I mean, it contributes to all of the issues that they've had, right? Whether it's adverse field position, whether it's turnovers. I mean, Jaquan Jackson has not lost a fumble on special teams until yesterday. He has put the ball on the ground, though. He's been able to recover his own fumble in those spots. But still, it continues to put them in bad positions. It also contributes to their defensive issues. It's why they're not the number one defense in anything, even if the statistics tell you that they are the number one defense in a variety of different categories. They are only the number one defense in terms of total yardage or passing yardage, because the special teams unit allows the opponent to get within their own territory so many times that you simply don't have to go that far against the Titans defense, or don't have to throw for so many yards against the Titans defense to still score points on the Titans defense. They are averaging about 26 points per game allowed, and yesterday was no different, right? There was a couple of different things that contributed to that, and of course the Levis, I think it was a 60-something yard pick six that he threw, all are a part of the problem. But is the issue more on the coach or on the players? Because if you watch this return again specifically, I don't know what Colt Anderson is supposed to do when they have the guy bottled up and Cedric Gray just lets him go.
And the Titans. This will be returned at the goal line by Dameon Pierce, and Pierce breaks a few tackles, breaks to the outside, he might get away. He's over to the sideline, he's got a couple of men to beat, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line.
So that, I mean, I don't know what Colt Anderson is supposed to do other than yell at Cedric Gray louder, wrap up. You've got him in your arms and you literally just walked him, well, let him go at that point. It's one of the most infuriating special teams plays I've ever seen. And Callahan called it, he didn't know how to quantify it. Tough to quantify how he felt about the special teams unit, because the special teams unit has had moments like that all year long. They've fixed the punt protection issue that was causing them to get punts blocked early in the year. They have made some adjustments that are worth noting, but still they have problems all over the place. And it's not just on the players, even though the players are absolutely welcome to execute at a higher level. I think for my part, I would put the majority of the blame on Colt Anderson. He is ultimately responsible for the special teams. His special teams unit is the worst in the league in a variety of different categories, and it has caused a massive ripple effect in all the different ways that the special teams can hurt other parts of the team at this point. But fortunately for you, you're going against a team that has special teams issues of their own, and we'll highlight some of those here in just a second. The question that I'm going to ask you on the primetime program as Monday Night Football gets kicked off: who has the worst special teams unit, or the worst special teams unit is the proper grammar on that? The Titans or the Commanders? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll talk about it together right after I remind you that primetime is made possible by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout ever recycled or repeated. Just TrueMath Fitness, the best in the business. I know we feel like we're moving fast, but this is up against Monday Night Football. This is a great game, and I want you guys to be able to watch. And also, Bert is going to kill me if I don't let him watch this Ravens game more closely at some point. So the Commies had a nightmare against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. I haven't had the opportunity to yet see the entirety of the game, but I did see the highlights of all the different special teams issues that led them ultimately to lose to a, at the time, 3-win Cowboys team. Commanders fall to 7-5 because they just can't get a handle on things. Like, for example, giving up or getting blocked a missed extra point in this game after scoring a touchdown that would have put them in position to succeed.
Low snap. It is no good. And the worst special teams day in history has a fitting finish.
The worst special teams day in history. It was honestly shameful. They set records for the amount of wild and insane special teams plays and blunders that they had, and they still almost pulled it off because they are good. And you saw Jaden Daniels ripping an 86-yard touchdown pass to Scary Terry to try and at least tie the game. But that capped off a big comeback in the last 3 minutes of the game in a series of plays that had 2 touchdowns and a field goal to put Washington 1 extra point away from that tie. Austin Seibert, the kicker, shanked the extra point wide left after a bad snap that the holder seemed to try and fix in the moment, and then Seibert just outright missed. He missed another extra point early in the game, and he failed to make a 51-yard field goal in the first quarter of that game. Also, they did something like this, which I haven't seen since A.J. Brown with the Titans against the Indianapolis Colts, I believe, in the COVID season.
To the left. He goes straight ahead this time, and it's picked up, and that'll put the nail in the coffin. End-to-end Wanye Thomas.
I mean, just nightmare after nightmare for the Commies and their fans. They ultimately lose. Dallas moves to 4-7. Tennessee, who has the worst or worst special teams unit? Is it, in fact, the Commies, or is it the Titans? Well, statistically, it's the Titans, but certainly the Washington Commanders had a worse night as far as all that went. I can't imagine watching that team come back and fight the way that they did, only to have your kicker undermine you again. That leads us to, in case you missed it, and like I said, I know we're moving fast, but Bert is no longer paying attention, and we will soon lose his attention entirely. unless the Chargers score a touchdown, and then he'll just be fuming with rage. So perhaps we should go live to him now, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on your no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet. What do you got, Bert?
All right, Master, hold on. Let's see this play.
Okay, you got Justin Herbert. The 2nd and 6. They are at the Baltimore, what are we looking at? The 36?
Sheesh.
Snap, handoff to the running back. J.K. Dobbins, revenge game. Bulldozers forward for the first down. Fresh set of downs. Look like they're going to be, at about the 25 there.
All right. Don't tell me anything else. That's all I need to know. I'm going to go to bed. It was great to see all y'all tonight. So I was going to be very positive about football, and now I really don't want to be. But I'll
look at you. It just started. You have no excuse to be this miserable.
I'll stick to my original plan. And the football is kind of cool because there's a bunch of different ways to bake a cake. And I think we saw that this weekend with the Panthers giving the Chiefs a run for their money, the Titans getting the upset win over the Texans. It showed that neither one of their processes, we had a show about this. Who made the correct decision? And it looks like the Colts may have made the correct decision with Anthony Richardson. Who knows? He was terrible against the Colts. I don't think he completed, or the Lions completed 10 passes, had a fumble, rough day for AR. But in the case of Carolina and Tennessee, both of those quarterbacks were able to shine after being sat in their own different way. Will Levis, I think they were kind of hiding behind the injury a little bit. They didn't want to throw him out there if he wasn't 100%. They didn't want to give any excuses. But in Carolina's case, a flat-out benching. Both of them came back and showed the talent that had them drafted high in both their respective drafts. And I think it was cool because in college, something else cool happened. Not very often does an interim coach have the chance to rally the troops and set the ship on the right way, so to speak. But in ECU's case, the coach did just that. He's rattled off 4 straight wins. And this today at practice, he found out he was going to have the interim tag raised, and he would be the new head coach of the East Carolina Pirates.
Hell yeah!
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
All right, 3 things. 1, we got a great opportunity Friday. We're going to play on national TV. All eyes are going to be on the Pirates. 2, the way you all have conducted yourself over the last 4 to 5 weeks, I can't tell you how impressed I am with all of you. I can't tell you how proud I am. The 3rd thing, your new head.
All right, that's pretty cool. Chargers take the 7-0 lead. That's in case you missed it. Justin Herbert with the carry. Look at him winding his way through the defense. Marlon Humphrey can't make the tackle. That's a shame for Greg Roman revenge game too. I completely forgot about that. All right, I'll let you go. You're done for the night. We have to put him on a self-harm watch list when the Ravens play. Certainly it's going to be a stressful night for Bert, but we got you out in time to enjoy the vast majority of this excellent Monday Night Football game. Appreciate you guys stopping by as always. We'll do one more primetime show tomorrow, and that will be a good time had by all. We'll focus more in on Will Levis and how he's doing relative to his peers as well. Have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!